Hi guys, so hopefully just a very short one thing to say. In Hollywood and in general media as well, there is a perception that quarterstaff, which is usually a stick about a person long or possibly longer, and I'll mention something about that in a second, is held like this, with equal amounts at both ends, like your Darth Maul with a lightsaber or something. And this goes back a fair way, and where it stems from is that in the Victorian period, quarterstaff was sort of brought back from the dead, as it were, as a sporting, fun kind of endeavour to do. And actually it was championed by the Boy Scout movement, no less. And you can actually find online the Boy Scout Manual of Quarterstaff, which, you know, is quite a cool thing. In this they put on lots of padding and fencing masks, fencing helmets as they called them at the time. And basically they use it like some of you might know this is like a pugil stick from that show Gladiators that used to be on. Right, what I want to say is this is not how the quarterstaff was actually used back in the time when the quarterstaff was really a weapon. How the quarterstaff was actually used was held at the back part of the weapon. Now I have heard it said that it was called the quarterstaff because you hold the rear quarter of the weapon. I'm dubious that that's the reason. I don't think that is the reason. I think that well, I don't know why it's called a quarterstaff, and I don't believe anybody else has a historically proven explanation for it. So I'll leave that to one side. If you've got anything to say about it, feel free to comment below. But the quarterstaff, all I want to say really, is held at the back third, really, of the stick. Okay, so the backhand is usually pretty near the butt end, usually just with a bit projecting, and the hand is sort of up towards the middle of the weapon. And what this leaves you with essentially is a pole weapon, and it's the same way that you would generally hold a halberd or a bill or a partisan or these kind of cut and thrust pole weapons. And it can be held on either side of the body and changed over at will. Okay, and usually they're held right hand forward. And the final thing to say about how to hold the quarterstaff is that your hands aren't always static on the weapon. They will slip almost like a snooker or pool cue, so you can slide the weapon through, both in giving parries. You can bring the hands wider to give a stronger parry, and that also means you could slip the back end out or the front end out to get extra reach when you hit the opponent back. So you can bring the hands apart to defend, but equally you can bring the hands together to attack, or you can bring the back hand in towards the front hand to attack with essentially your pommel end, the back end, the butt end. Okay, and you know, this has some relationship with bayonet fighting as well, where, you know, a musket and bayonet in the Napoleonic period, for example, was about as tall as a man when you've got the two weapons joined together. So there we go. I'm sure I'll talk some more about quarterstaff at some point, the guards and how it's used and so on. But how to hold the quarterstaff at the back end, not in the middle like in Robin Hood films. Thank you.